What's up, all you Minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and welcome back to your monthly segment of graphic novels hidden gems. So, let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. We put out videos every day, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. This all helps with our YouTube algorithm, and we kind of need it this week. The YouTube algorithm is kind of messed up and not showing our usual view to like ratio. But anyway, check out our spread shop. Great way to support the channel. The description has the link, as well as our Patreon. So, welcome back to your monthly segment of hidden gems. As far as graphic novels, this is where I talk about graphic novels that usually don't get a lot of love, or I don't hear enough people talk about. And I do this every month. By the way, I've been looking at all the comments. Thank you all so much for suggesting new books or books I've already read. It's getting a little harder to get back to everybody, but I promise I do look at all the comments. So please keep leaving me some suggestions in the comment box. Again, this is just my list. Some of these you may have heard of. Some of them you may hate. Some of them you may not have heard of. So whatever it is that we can help each other out, because y'all leave me some good suggestions, we just keep on doing that. All right. So, I think that's it. Let's get started. Kicking off the list this month is The Last Siege. This is printed by Image Comics. It is done by Landry Walker, Justin Greenwood, and Eric Jones. And it was an 8-issue limited series, all collected in one trade paperback. For fans of the Lake of Fire series or the Spider King series that I suggested, this is very similar. It's got this medieval tone to it, and the artwork really fits the tone of the story. So I think this is probably teen plus, borderline mature, just based on the violence, really. Teen plus. I'd be okay with that. So the premise is pretty simple. It's the lord of this castle is dead, and this upstart that is part of his men wants to marry his young daughter. Gross. And that is Princess Catherine. Now, one day, this stranger walks into this land, and the stranger's name is Thomas Land. And he has a message that he's carrying for the king. And there's a secret with this message. And meanwhile, there's another king that's marching to this kingdom that wants to claim this land now for himself, because he heard the king is dead and there's nobody but the little princess left. So it's that type of story. At the end of each of the issues, it's pretty interesting because there's like a chapter of a book, right out of a book, that's kind of filling in the missing gaps of this particular story, and they start making more and more sense the more you get to know the characters. So it's pretty cool, and do not skip them. So very much like Watchmen. And there's other comics like that, but for some reason this is probably one that is in this medieval world that kind of stands out with those kind of chapters in between as far as a graphic novel. But there is one really cool silent issue in this. I think it's issue 7. There's no dialogue at all. You just let the battle and rage carry the story. So if you're looking for a mix of medieval stories and like a Western, because it does like the man with no name kind of stories, this is a perfect graphic novel for you. Again, Image Comics, all in one. This is all you need. This will make a great, honestly, a great HBO or Netflix movie. Dave by Ryan Ferrier and Valentin Ramon from IDW. This is one of my favorite reads. My buddy Kyle sent this to me a couple of years ago, and I loved it. This is definitely mature rating. So the premise of this one is awesome. Stay with me. This is about in the future, robots, they have a giant war, kill out humanity. Like, they kill everyone. Actually, they wipe out most of the galaxy. And now robots are kind of living our everyday life, like how humans used to live. And the greatest warrior, Dave, spelled with a 4, because every one of the robot names are spelled with a number. Like his wife, Sally, is spelled with a 4. He has a day-to-day job. He has human problems. He gets stuck in traffic. He thinks his wife is having an affair on him. He hates his boss, who's kind of a douchebag. Him and his wife adopted a kid through eBaby, and he's kind of a jerk, but I actually like the kid. And that's where this starts off. So I thought that was really cool. Like, it's like after this giant war, robots just work everyday life and turn out to be just like humans. And he daydreams about the glory days, about when he was a warrior and he was the greatest warrior. Now, unbeknownst to him and everyone here on Earth, by the way, in the future, Earth is spelled with a 3 when the robots take over, there is this alien bug-like race known as the Kalar, and they want to come to Earth to use its resources. So that kind of sparks something in him. He wants to be that hero again. He's been waiting for this day. And it's funny because the covers show, you know, the progress of him, like with a suit on and a tie, and then he has a gun, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of humor in this. It's definitely mature rating just because it's just ripping out body parts for the violence. And then there's a little bit of, you know, sexual tones in there. Now, there are 2 follow-ups to this, Dave 2, and I cannot remember the name of the third one. All of them are available. I forgot to mention Last Siege is available, and this is also available digitally if you want to check it out that way. But this is Dave. Strongly suggested. This is a nice, fresh breath of air for people that, you know, want to take a break from the norm of graphic novels, whether you're reading something heavy or whether you're reading something with a lot of context and a lot of dialogue. This is definitely for you. Battle Cats by Mark London, Andy King, and Michael Camello. This is brought by Mad Cave Studios. And I'm going to actually have Mark London on the show. I'm interviewing him at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on April 14th on the channel. So it'll be a live show. Be asking him questions, so please chime in, you know, because I really want to talk to him about this book. So this is definitely for older teens, I would say, and it reminds me of waking up on Saturday mornings and watching things like Thundercats. Of course, I'm sure it gets compared to Thundercats a lot. Tiger Sharks. Nobody compares it to Tiger Sharks, Silverhawks, or just cartoons that you grew up with on Saturday mornings in the 80s, and I think that's why I really enjoyed this. So in Battle Cats, the lion god, he looks badass, created this planet, and this is Valderias where all this takes place. And after a period of evolution, cats are now anthropomorphic, and of course battles break out. So it's a war against different clans, and then it settles down for a while. There's peace in the land, and then there's a bunch of peacekeepers known as the Battle Cats. They're kind of like the right hand to the king. And these Battle Cats are all led by their leader, Kelthan, who's a badass himself. There's a magician named Vaela. There is a big monk guy. He's kind of like their big silent bear named Zorian. There's an archer named Kalira. And then there's Mikar, who's kind of like the wisecracking bar. And all of them make up the Battle Cats, and they get sent on a mission in the very first volume. Now, there's going to be 3 of these altogether. Volumes 1 and 2 are out. There's also the World of Battle Cats, which is kind of side stories and maps. And speaking of maps, this one has a bunch of maps here. And the beauty of this particular book is that the author, London, and the artist and everybody that worked on this were able to build this wonderful world, and you want to see more. That's the thing about this book, is once you put it down, you're like, man, I really want to find out about these other characters that are appearing, because there's also the dark cats that are here. There's other clans. They're not all cats. There are some dogs. So there's so much potential in this world, and that's why I really enjoy it, because the world building all starts here, especially with the lore of this giant lion god with beautiful fiery red mane that created this world, and why the cats are the way they are. But you also want to see the other clans. You're like, wait a minute, so what are these other characters up to? I want to find out more about them, but also come back to the main story of Kethlan and his crew. There's betrayal in this, and things aren't always what they seem, and I really enjoy it. I mean, it's Thundercats with adult themes. How could I not talk about this book? I've done an overview of, I've done a review of volumes 1 and 2. Obviously, I really enjoyed it, but I don't hear enough people talk about Battle Cats. Again, from Mad Cave Studios. Great book. Marvel Boy by Grant Morrison and J.G. Jones from Marvel Comics. This is their Marvel Knights imprint, so it's a little mature content. I would say teens is fine with this. It has a little bit of a mature tone just because of some of the things that Morrison puts in here. So this is the same team that did Final Crisis, also worked on Seven Soldiers of Victory, and J.G. Jones' art style is just phenomenal. He's also the guy that drew Wanted, for those that are wondering where you've heard the name before. So this is all the story of Novar, our lead character, Marvel Boy, and you may have seen him later on. He appears in Secret Invasion, Young Avengers, part of the West Coast Avengers, Captain Marvel. So there is a little lineage there, maybe, maybe not, but it's not really explained here. You don't need to have read anything. It's all of the issues are collected in here that you need for this particular story. So it's the story of Navarre and Captain Glory and their ship and his crewmates, including a love interest. They get shot down and crash land in New Jersey, and he finds out this is all the doing of this guy named Midas. Midas is a pretty cool, interesting character. He's a little one-dimensional, but that's okay. He looks awesome, though, because he has like this Silver Age gold Iron Man armor on, and pretty much what he wants to do is get the secrets to the Kree weapon that were on the ship, and he wants to extract them from Marvel Boy. And now he has his daughter helping him out, Oubliette, who is kind of dominatrix in her the way that she looks. But there's a thing with that, though. Like I said, if you go back and read this came out over 20 years ago. But if you go back and read this, you'll find so much more about this particular story that you may have missed back then if you read it 20 years ago, like I did. Because I used to have the single issues. This has been available in trade paperback. This is the Marvel Premiere hardcover version. And there's a recent trade paperback that came out sometime a couple of years ago. So it is widely available. And the only thing I can say that's missing from this series is at the very end of this series, I'm not going to give any spoilers because I never do when I do these overviews or when I do these hidden gems, is that we were promised another series, a second follow-up series from the same creators. That never happened. Black Monday Murders by Jonathan Hickman and Tom Coker. And this is printed by Image Comics. There are 2 trade paperbacks available so far. I think the third one ends it. So this is one that the least I say about it, the better it is for you all. It does have to do with the stock market, so if you find that kind of boring, this may not be for you, because there is a lot of that in here, because a lot of research went into this book. It's more about the occult and the behind the scenes of the stock market, and I quote unquote behind the scenes. So it's about human sacrifice, the god Mammon that you sacrifice these people to so you can be one of the 1%ers, the ones that get to call what the stock market is, when it goes up, when it goes down. And it has a lot of that in here. There's cannibalism, and all told through the eyes of probably the one stable character. Well, never mind, I'll keep a few surprises. But there's a detective in here named Detective Theodore Dumas, and he's kind of level-headed, and you get to find out more about the stories through his eyes, and he himself has some secrets. Now, what's really cool about this, though, you get to see police reports, you get to see internet websites through these stories. There's chapters of books. Some of these police reports have been blacked out to cover up some crime scenes, if you will. So it's pretty interesting. There's a whole mystery, and like I said, there's a whole occult behind this, and that's pretty much what I can say about it without giving any huge spoilers away. Other than the artwork, it is phenomenal. It is sketchy, it's dark, and it fits this dark story. And it's very Hickman in the way that it's done, too. And if you know anything about Jonathan Hickman, it's very deconstructive. Like, the way that he tells his stories, there's a blank page, and then he has his title page, lots of symbols, because he loves symbols, and then the covers are kept in the back. So you really don't know when one chapter ends and one begins. And the books are lengthy. The first 4 issues are collected in this first trade paperback, but they're about 52 pages each. So this is some heavy reading, I'm not gonna lie. That's the downside to this if you're not interested in the stock market. That's the other downside, is that there is some heavy reading, so prepare for that. Give yourself some time to read it, but I think it's really fun and really informative. Like I said, this one really had a lot of research going into it. Now, if you're grossed out by cannibalism or human sacrifices and things like that, fair warning, this is definitely mature rating, and that's pretty much all I can say about that. Now, if you're interested in any of these books, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for US customers. cheapgraphicnovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. So that was my list of 5 hidden gem graphic novels. Let me know in the comments down below what you think are some hidden gems. I started a playlist so you can see the other previous videos that I've done with hidden gems, and I need to work on my list of my top favorite Boom comics. Top 10 I think is what you all wanted to see. Again, please don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, ring that bell for notifications, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out our Patreon and our Spread Shop. Phenomenal ways to support the channel if you can do so. And more importantly, everybody, stay healthy, stay safe out there, and much love.